Hello YouTube, I am Matt, and welcome to another Feather and Inkwell fountain pen review.
Hello YouTube, I am Matt. This is just another drop in the bucket and yet another Feather and Inkwell fountain pen review for you right here. We have the Asvine V126. So this is a vacuum filler. So if you don't recall, you pull the piston all the way back out, you push it forward until it catches in the top a little bit, and it sucks in the ink from your bottle. What I have in this is a medium nib, and this is in the matte black look, which is transparent, so nice demonstrator, able to see your ink level really good, and overall this has been an absolute pleasure to write with. Catch me down on the table side view and we'll go through some stats with it. Hello YouTube, welcome back to my table side view, and today for some comparison we have the Jinhao 5000, the gold dragon and red background, one of my favorite pens of all times. We have the pen in review today, the Asvine V126, and we have the Moonman / Mahjong P136. So that's a 136 and a 126. You could see they are all kind of about the same. Don't know. Yep, they're probably within maybe 1/8 of an inch of each other, the two Asvine and Moonman. And the Jinhao is just a tad shorter than both of those, but it also has a rather flat finial, so that is the major difference between them really. These two are roughly in width the same size, grip length, and the Jinhao of course being a much narrower pen to hold, but overall still a unique feel. Removing the two not in review, like the other one, I bought all the nibs that go with it. So not as many choices. I have extra fine, medium, and it did not have the, I think this has a broad instead. Let me see. Maybe not. It may just have extra fine, and medium. I don't even have a broad or a 1.1. So sad face on that, but life happens. I wanted to get every nib that came with it and everyone I could put in it. So I'm happy with what I have, and I love writing with the medium. It is a super awesomely smooth medium. Now, going through what it looks like, this is what it looks like writing medium. Very wet, very capable. It does have a little bit of a sweet spot. If you get off of that, it kind of feels like you're writing on a knife's edge a little bit, but once you hit that sweet spot, oh, it is beautiful. Sometimes it's a little bit catchy with the piston here in the middle when you open it up to let the ink flow through. So sometimes you got to kind of wiggle it with your thumb and try to get the piston into the proper filling area because it will kind of stick to the back up here, but such is life. Overall, it works extremely good compared to other ones that I've had like this from similar brands, and it did not. Let's review how the different nibs wrote. So with the medium, this is all a medium sample here, and you could see plenty of ink flow. Dropping down to the extra fine, the line came out better than the previous on the Moonman, and going to this Asvine extra fine, it actually did have consistent ink flow. Mind you, these were dipped because the ink could not flow in 1 second, and I wanted it to, and not spend all day reviewing nibs. But dipping it and getting the ink to flow, it did have a consistent line, unlike the previous one where I really feel like it just needed more time to get flow through. Bumping up to that fine, better ink flow, but still good, and we did get some smudge capability. On the previous one, I don't even know if I smudged it technically, except for maybe right here on the end, but it was really dry. This actually had enough ink that I was able to smudge, so that if you're using a heavy shade sheen ink, fine would be the first place I would go to. I would not bump down to that extra fine. You will not get very much variation in your lines. Bumping up to my favorite medium, very good ink flow. I would not mind using some kind of shade or shimmer or something with the medium because it flows very well. Overall, the weight, I believe this is fully inked and with the cap, is 29 grams. Posted length is 6.5. Now this is a vacuum filler, so if you post it, it's not the end of the world if you move it a little bit, because nothing's really going to happen. So if you accidentally move it, you're not really moving anything, unlike with the piston fillers. So it's not the end of the world. But it does post back out to about 6.5 inches, which is a little long, but it's not undue. It's just, it sits there, you have a longer pen to hold, and overall it's pretty good. With this, I do have the black PVD coated stainless steel nibs, which I do think are awesome. Uncapped is 5 1/4, which is very close to what I consider to be the ultimate length to put in an average hand. So I think 5 1/2 is my favorite measurement, but 5 1/4 is very usable, very usable. This particular plastic that this is made out of, or resin if you will, while it is clear, I do feel like it is harder than this type of resin. So this type of resin on the 136 by Moonman, that is imitation of a lot of the, like the Mont Blanc imitation pens, it's a softer resin to hold and it feels lighter in weight. This has a few more components and typically it weighs just a little bit more, but this is a much harder resin to hold on to and grip tighter. So that is something to note. It is super smooth. It's kind of like holding on to glass. It has mild texture all the way over, and it's the same thing all the way through. There are a fair number of O-rings in it to keep the ink in, so you're not going to get any ink flowing onto your hand from inside. Everything is very well done. Being a vacuum filler, you do want to open up that compartment and get the ink flowing from the main chamber in. And let's see if I can get it flowing here. Give it a second. As all vacuum fillers, you kind of gotta finick it a little bit, but it's not that bad. There we go. So in just a few seconds, you have a great flowing pen. Back on the medium. Super good flow. I love it. This is another one of my daily drivers I've been using lately. And while because it's a vacuum, sometimes they do dry up if you've used up your last ink supply. So you've got that to kind of work around, but overall I would say I still like it. I still use it all the time, and it's still a wonderful pen. It's right around the perfect length to hold in your hand as far as I'm concerned. I do love the matte black look. I have been writing with this. This is in an ink that I previously considered almost unusable, which is the 2 minutes to midnight. And as you could see, it is writing beautifully in 2 minutes to midnight. So no feathering. This is a specialty ink. And on the flip side of the paper, very little ghosting. And this is on my favorite Rhodia paper, guys. Have a good one.